What if the deadliest weapon in ancient history wasn't a sword at all? You've probably heard of Beauty and the Beast, right? Well, forget the Disney version. The original story, written 4,000 years ago on clay tablets, is infinitely darker, weirder, and honestly, a lot more tragic. It doesn't start with a rose. It starts with a wild monster terrorizing the wilderness, and the only thing powerful enough to stop him wasn't an army, it was a woman. And she didn't use magic, she used, well, let's just say she used exactly what nature gave her. But before we get to the 6-day marathon that changed history, we have to go back to the swamp. Imagine you're a hunter in ancient Mesopotamia. You're checking your traps, trying to feed your family, but every single snare is smashed. Pits are filled in, your game is gone. And then you see him, Enkidu. This guy isn't human, not really. The texts say he was covered in hair, matted and thick like corn silk. He didn't know people existed. He ran with the gazelles, he wrestled with lions, and he ate grass on his hands and knees. He was pure, unbridled nature, a living force of chaos created by the gods specifically to be a headache for the king of Uruk. So the hunter is terrified. He runs to his father, basically saying, "Dad, there's a Sasquatch ruining my life." His dad tells him to go to Uruk and ask King Gilgamesh for help. Now, you'd expect the king to send soldiers, right? Maybe a champion fighter? Nope. Gilgamesh hears about this wild man and says, "Take Shamhat." Now, Shamhat wasn't just some random woman. She was a servant of Ishtar, the goddess of love and war. In the ancient world, those two things were very close cousins. Shamhat was a temple priestess, a harlot saint. Her job was literally to be irresistible. Gilgamesh knew that brute force wouldn't work on a beast like Enkidu. He needed to civilize him. And to the Sumerians, civilization started in the bedroom. So the hunter and Shamhat march out to the watering hole and they wait. 3 days they sit there, hiding in the reeds, probably swatting away mosquitoes, waiting for the beast. Then the ground starts to shake. Enkidu comes down to drink. He's surrounded by his herd, grunting, splashing, completely wild. This is the moment. The hunter looks at Shamhat and basically says, "Okay, do your thing. Don't hold back." What happens next is intense. The text is surprisingly explicit for something carved into stone. Shamhat reveals herself. She doesn't run. She doesn't flinch. She stands there, in the middle of the wild, and invites the beast in. And Enkidu? He's never seen a human like this. He's mesmerized. He forgets the gazelles. He forgets the grass. He goes to her. And here is the part that blows my mind. They don't just have a quick encounter. The tablet literally says they stayed together for 6 days and 7 nights. Think about that. A week. Non-stop. In the wild. It's an endurance test that would kill a normal person. It's this massive cosmic union of nature and civilization. But then the morning of the 7th day comes, and this is where the tragedy starts. Enkidu wakes up, satisfied, and looks around for his friends, the gazelles. He tries to run to them, like he always did. But they don't wait for him. They bolt. The text says the animals shied away from his person. They could smell the human on him now. They knew he had changed. He tries to chase them, but his legs feel heavy. He can't run like he used to. The wild power is gone.
He stops, panting, watching his family run away from him forever. He realizes he's alone. He goes back to Shamhat, probably looking completely broken, and sits at her feet. It's actually a really sad moment. He gained consciousness, but he lost his freedom. He grew up. Shamhat looks at him and says something like, "You are beautiful, Enkidu. You are like a god. Why do you run with the beasts?" She tears her own clothes in half and drapes one piece over him. It's the first time he's ever worn clothes. She takes his hand, literally leading him like a child, and walks him to a shepherd's camp. This is the second phase of his taming. They put bread in front of him. He stares at it. He doesn't know what to do. He's used to sucking milk from wild animals. He just gapes at the bread. Then, and I love this detail, they give him beer.
He drinks 7 jugs of beer. His soul becomes free, and he starts singing. He washes the matted hair off his body, puts on oil, and picks up a weapon to guard the sheep from lions. The transformation is complete. The brother of the animals is now their butcher. But here's the twist that most people forget. Years later, on his deathbed, Enkidu realizes that this moment, that week with Shamhat, was the beginning of his end. He's dying because of the gods' politics, and he's angry. He starts screaming curses at Shamhat. He curses her to be poor. He curses her to have her clothes torn. He wishes terrible things on the woman who civilized him, because if she hadn't found him, he'd still be happy and running free in the woods. But then the sun god Shamash calls down from heaven and scolds him. He says, "Why are you cursing her? Didn't she feed you bread fit for gods? Didn't she give you wine fit for kings? Didn't she give you Gilgamesh as a best friend?" Enkidu calms down. He takes it back. He realizes that even though civilization brings pain and death, the friendship and the love were worth the price. He turns his curse into a blessing, wishing that all men will desire her. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? If you had the choice between living in blissful ignorance as a wild animal or having wisdom but knowing you're going to die, which one would you actually pick? Let me know what you choose in the comments.